I think not knowing how to eat and not knowing how to listen to our body's voice is a huge adherence for people who are trying to recover from an eating disorder. Hi, thank you for clicking on the video, and I hope everyone is doing really well. And a big thank you to everyone who has subscribed. If you're new to my channel, I mostly talk about eating disorders and eating disorder recovery, a little bit of mental health, diet, and nutrition. So if that sounds interesting to you, keep watching and subscribe. And thank you in advance. Today I want to talk about kind of one of the realizations that I've come to learn through recovery. And that is, no one teaches you how to eat. As a baby, food is just given to you. You have to be taken care of, so you are fed. And as you grow older, you start to develop a taste kind of palate. You know what you like, what you don't like, tastes that, have a emotional reaction. No one really lays out the steps of how to eat. More importantly, I feel like no one teaches us how to listen to our body. No one ever sat me down and taught me to listen to my body's signals of you're full now or you're hungry now. No one really laid that out for me, and I think that goes for a lot of people. I think it's kind of one of those instinctual things that people just assume you tap into and learn to listen, but I don't think we really are aware of that process and that ability. Our bodies are designed to be adaptable. So when you go for a significant period of time eating very little or not eating at all, our body learns to function on how little you're giving. It really goes into overtime and really tries to store energy, conserve energy, and really just put all its energy towards keeping you alive off of the very little sustenance and nutrients you're putting into your body. So when your body is used to running off of very little, and all of a sudden you start eating more, and you might end up eating a lot all at once because you want to recover and you want to conquer this. So you end up eating way more than your body's capable of, processing, and its capabilities have diminished over that period of time where you were starving it. So all of a sudden you kind of shock your system, and your body's almost like, I don't know what to do with all this food, and it just sort of stops and shuts down. And that's why a lot of our normal functioning ability of our body really slows down. That's why our metabolism really slows down when you starve yourself and then start eating again. So today I am going to try my best to teach you how to eat again, or at least give you some tips and advice, things that I've learned over the past few years of recovery, things that have really helped me eat again. When I first started eating again, I really wish someone had told me these things, because it definitely would have helped. It definitely would have given me a little bit more peace of mind, and it would have given me kind of the starting tools to be able to make healthy, smart choices when it came to the foods I was eating, how much I was eating, when I was eating, all of those things. I really went into recovery blindly, and it took a lot of trial and error and messing up and relapsing and all of that to really come to these realizations and this advice that I'm going to give you today. There's a lot of opinions out there. There's a lot of voices, a lot of people who claim to be experts and everything, but they're just like me, basing their advice off their own experience. So this is stuff that really works for me, and I think it will help if you try to implement it or try to start thinking in a different way from how you were thinking before. First off, I don't think it matters what you eat, just as long as you eat. This is a really good starting place to begin with recovery. Just eat. And I don't mean just stuff your face full of everything. What I mean is just make sure that you are eating. So it's kind of just a beginning step and a beginning way of thinking and a challenge to yourself, because all through recovery you need to continually challenge yourself. So this is kind of a good stepping point, a beginning step to challenging yourself, challenging your mindset, and just making sure that you are eating every day. Second, you don't have to eat breakfast. I know that is just shocking. You know, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. No, it's not. No meal of the day has more importance than any other meal of the day. Again, it goes back to, as long as you're eating, that's the main thing that that's important. The important thing is eating, not which meal you eat, not what you eat for that meal, just as long as you are putting sustenance into your body. Breakfast is just another option. If you need to wait a few hours before eating something, wait a few hours. You're trying to nourish your body, but you have to respect your body as well. So you don't have to eat breakfast. People who say, oh, just listen to your body and only eat when you're hungry, have never starved themselves. They don't know what they're talking about. Because here's the thing, when you starve yourself for a significant amount of time, eventually your body loses the ability to recognize hunger. In fact, it might never send you signals. Your body just forgets what hunger feels like, and it forgets to send signals to your brain to let you know you're hungry. So what I say to counter that is eat when you know you should eat. What I mean by that is there is a stereotypical time that each meal of the day falls into. Breakfast falls in right when you wake up. Lunch comes in sometime around noon. Dinner is typically, in the evening, maybe 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. So, in order to make sure that you are eating, and you're eating throughout the day, and you're eating enough, and you want to challenge yourself, and maybe you want to eat 3 times a day. So what I say is, if you know that stereotypically you eat breakfast right when you wake up, or an hour or so after waking up, have breakfast. Then lunch is at noon and dinner is at 6 o'clock. That way, eventually, your body almost anticipates eating, anticipates food. So internally, your internal clock will suddenly, it's getting closer to noon, it knows it's time to eat, and it sends a signal like you're hungry. And eventually you start to recognize hunger pains, or you start to recognize that feeling of hunger, and that brings back your appetite, and it brings back your body's ability to send signals so that you know what's going on. And eventually you'll be able to listen to your body and know when you're hungry and when you're not. It becomes a pattern, and patterns are good to stick to when you're first recovering, because it trains your body, it trains your mind, and it helps it not be so scary, because you just know that when 6 o'clock comes around, I'm eating, I have to do it, and that's that. And that way, between noon and 6 o'clock, you can just focus on your work, your school, your hobbies, your friends. You can focus on everything else. Next up, piece of advice, take it slow. It is okay to stick to your safe foods. Just increase the amount that you eat. I think a lot of people think that when you go into recovery, all of a sudden you have to start eating this and that, and fatty foods and sugary foods and all the scary foods that you have been restricting for so long. It's not the case. Don't do it. Stick to your safe foods, because your body knows how to process those foods. At least it knows to do that. So if you really like fruit, if you really like cereal, if you really like, soup, just eat the things you are comfortable with. Because you don't want to shock your system. You don't want to push yourself too far, because when you push yourself too far too soon, that's going to increase your chances of relapse or, feelings of guilt and things like that. So stick to what you know, just increase the amount. Don't try to make a million changes all at once. It's already scary that you are increasing how much you eat. So take it slow, one challenge at a time, one step at a time. And this again is it's a nice place to kind of start. You know these foods, you know your body can handle them, you're just increasing the amount, and then from there, you'll start to kind of make more progress and more steps, and you'll start to branch out. And that's another important thing to remember is stay within the safe foods, the comfort foods, those things at first, and then slowly over time, and this could be, months at a time, years at a time, take it slow and just start to branch out and start to incorporate other foods into your diet. And then all of a sudden, you are eating pretty much everything in the world. You're eating throughout the day, you're eating a normal amount, a recommended amount, and all of a sudden you look back and you're like, how did I get here? It just feels like yesterday I was, eating celery and that was it, and now I'm here, and it's huge progress. Eat things that are soft and easy to digest. Fruit is great. It's got fiber, it's got a lot of nutrients, it's got a lot of antioxidants, and it's gonna help with the flow of things. And then vegetables are really great. Other than lettuce, I really would recommend cook all your vegetables because it's going to get soft, but it's still going to have nutrients. And again, it's gentle on your stomach and it aids in your digestive system kind of coming back to life. And then every couple of weeks or every couple of months, start to incorporate new foods or heavier foods. You don't want to do it right away because you wouldn't want to, you have been eating this tiny little portion for so long, and then you wouldn't just all of a sudden go out one day and just eat McDonald's, because you're putting such pressure on your digestive system, your ability to absorb nutrients, all of these things. You wouldn't do that because then you're putting these heavy, fatty foods in your stomach, which one is going to really mess with your brain and your guilt and your shame, those feelings, but then physically it's not safe. You want to start with those soft, easy foods and then gradually bring in the heavier stuff. One thing that you kind of have to work your way up to is incorporating fats and oils into your food. I don't recommend doing it right away because you have trained your brain to think about those foods in a certain way, or at least I did, and I think a lot of people do that. They are the scary foods. Fats and oils and fat in general is a four-letter word. It is a bad word. And so it's not something, again, you wouldn't just go out and eat a ton of McDonald's. That's not a good idea. It's something to work your way up to. And so first off, try to find fat sources that you like. If you like avocados, eat avocados every day. I did that. So I didn't eat fat for a really long time when I first started recovery because it still really scared me and I wasn't there yet. So eventually I started eating avocados, and I started eating half an avocado every single day. I would find some way to just eat it, either in my salad, on toast, which is amazing by the way, but I just found ways to eat avocado. And then eventually I would eat a whole avocado, which some people might be like, oh my gosh, a whole avocado. I needed it. My body needed it. But I really liked avocados, so I really stuck to it. Another piece of advice is hide fats in your food. And that can be as simple as cooking with oil. Take the energy that you used to use to deprive yourself of food and direct it or redirect it towards just picking up the food and eating it. At the end of the day, you just gotta do it. Challenge yourself with your scary foods. This helps you and your body learn balance. And I think I've mentioned it probably at this point 4 or 5 times in previous videos, but every couple of weeks or maybe once a month at first, pick a day and just challenge yourself to eat that one thing that you used to say never again. and just try to eat that one food. And I always say it because this is my example, and this is what I did. Cinnamon rolls. Cinnamon rolls were one of those things that, oh my gosh, I would smell it and be like, I'm full now. But every couple of months or so, I would just be like, I'm gonna have a cinnamon roll and it's gonna be amazing. And I did. And at first, it made me feel bad. I would just challenge myself to eat the food. That was the first challenge. And then the second challenge was, I'm gonna eat the food and I'm gonna wait and I'm gonna be okay with it. And then the next was, I'm gonna eat the food, I'm gonna be okay with it, and I'm gonna like it. And I mean, this took years of me challenging myself constantly. And so I challenge you every maybe once a month, like I said, eat that scary food. And then eventually maybe every other week, and then maybe once a week. Just continually challenge yourself so that you can take another step forward and progress. The main thing is to take your time and allow your body to get used to the foods that you are eating. That might mean that you eat the same things over and over and over again. This is something that helped me. It was like Mondays was one thing, Tuesdays was another, Wednesday was another, and so on. But that helped me not have to think about, oh, what am I gonna make? Because it was already set. Monday is this thing, Tuesday is this, and you don't have to think about it, you don't have to worry, you just have to make it, eat it, you're done. Simple. And lastly, even if you don't feel like eating, do it anyway. So that is my advice to how to eat again. And I hope it helped. If you liked it, if you learned something, please give this video a thumbs up. For more videos about diet, nutrition, eating disorders, recovery, all that good stuff, please subscribe. Thank you again to everyone who has subscribed, and I will see you next time. Bye!